John Beaudin from Rock History Music, and sad news today in the world of music. As far as a country legend, they don't come much bigger than Loretta Lynn. It's just been announced that she died. She was 90 years old, lived an awful long life. Let me make sure my mic is hot. There we go. And a coal miner's daughter. Who could forget that movie? That was about her hardships, and she died at her home in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. Today, her family confirmed. Now, she started off in 1966 with sorry, I have COVID, so I'm having problems talking. Don't Come Home a Drinkin'. With Lovin' on Your Mind. She topped the U.S. country chart 16 times, nominated for 18 Grammys, winning 3, and she recorded 60 studio albums. Can you imagine? What a career that is, huh? And known as one of the nicest ladies. I mean, she had her problems going through the years, but one of the nicest, most relatable ladies in country music. Right. Look at that. There she is. Loretta Lynn, 90 years old. It's a little better hearing when someone passes away, at least at that age. So far, we don't have any, let me just make sure, we don't have any major news on her death. Of course, when you're 90 years old, anything could happen. Coal Miner's Daughter, remember, with Tommy Lee Jones and Sissy Spacek? An amazing film. I think it might have been, for me at least, the first sort of biopic I'd seen. I was 16 years old in 1976. So when we have more news, we'll share it with you, but a true icon in music. Please like our videos, share our videos, and subscribe to our channel. It's been a while since we've basically come on here and talked about a death in music, like a big one. This is as big as it gets, especially in country music. Let me make sure I don't have any, if I have any comments from anybody. Oh, Melody R. Hi, Melody. Thank you for being on. Mark Burchett. Hi, John. Rest in peace, Loretta. Irene Brophy. E.T. went, thank you, appreciate that. Bless her soul. Talk about a person, the people who watch this channel are all of the ilk of their 50, 60, 70, and 80 years old, or even sometimes older. And we're all watching the clock, I think, a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with that, because at our age, anything can happen. Like I was saying last night, all the girls in the house have COVID, and I didn't test positive yet, but I know I have it because I'm completely congested. Bless her soul, yes. Mark Burchett. She lived in a reportedly haunted house? Is that right? Marty Martin. John, now that Steve Grimmett has died, maybe you could copyright the name Grim Reaper. Yeah. Living in Oregon. Good morning, a true legend. Yes, Sue Bailey, such a legend. My sister absolutely loved her. Coming from block programming when I was younger, where in the morning they would play pop hits, in the afternoon at the local radio station they would play country music. And at the time, being a teenager, things like Loretta Lynn and Buck Owens and all these people, I didn't like any of it. And now I look back at traditional country. Some people say the real country music, which of course Loretta Lynn was. It's part of our patchwork. It's interesting how people come full circle when it comes to country, especially if you grew up in the 70s and you weren't a country fan, but you were a rocker. You come full circle an awful lot, and you listen to those traditional country songs that, they were there in the background through osmosis, whether you liked it or not. You heard them. And, I like a lot of that stuff. Anyway, as reported, she died at her home. She was 90 years old. So far, there's not a lot of stuff that's come out other than just a lot of tributes and stuff. Let me just make sure I got all the... Candy Taylor, I had the honor of meeting Loretta in the early 80s. She was very warm and humble. Thank you, Candy. I appreciate that. Tim P., good morning, John and all. Moose, I saw her in concert in the 70s. Wow, that would have been the time to see her for sure. I mean, she continued to sing. She just loved what she did. Dennis Casto. What's amazing was how strong her voice was at her age in recent years. Well put. Good comment. I read she had more songs banned in country music than any male artist combined in the 20th century. Wow. Living in Oregon, my grandma loved her duets with Conway Twitty. Irene Brophy. Hope you all get better soon. Well, it's COVID. We have our shots. And I've tested negative this morning, but I can tell I've got a headache back here. I've got my head feels weird here. I'm congested, but let's move. We'll move on, right? Tim P, Irene Brophy. Yeah, thank you, Irene. Tim P, I remember seeing her on Hee Haw. Yeah, Irene Brophy. Yeah, that I grew up all over. John Potton. Hey, John. Thanks for your donation yesterday. Appreciate it. Good morning, John. She was a national treasure. I have seen many interviews with her, and she's genuinely, I mean, really, it's like the Reba McEntire thing people talk about. Just you sit, it seems like you're sitting with your favorite aunt. People used to say that about Rita McNeil in Canada. Such a legend. Greatest duets from Conway Twitty to Jack White, Dave Osborne. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. Rain Cloud Music, TFS6. I was just told of this sad news. Don't care who you are. She is an icon in the music business. Okay. Tim Hausman, rest in peace, Queen. Yeah. It's just one of those days, right? When you have such an iconic figure that's been in our lives, all of our lives. And it's just one of those, it's a sobering moment when that happens. Anyway, she passed away at 60. Let me see if I can come up with, duets with Willie Nelson to Elvis Costello. Her recent album was in 2018. Wouldn't it be great? And I don't see a lot of news about outside of that, but a lot of hits. May she rest in peace. Vincenzo says, so sad to hear about Loretta Lynn. I discovered her music from the movie Coal Miner's Daughter. I think a lot of people did. When you have a mainstream movie like that, even though it's on country music, it brings people in. You listen to the music, it moves you, you discover a new genre. It's kind of a cool thing, which leads to artists and different genres. And she certainly did that, crossed over an awful lot, which is great. Mark says, is there anyone today that could compare to her in country music? Oh, man. Today? No. Again, she's been in our lives, she's been in my life. I'm 62. There wasn't that really Coal Miner's Daughter introduced me to her on a larger level, but then I went back and I know a lot of these songs because through osmosis in the background, I've heard these songs. I just didn't put a name to the face because block programming like I said, in our case, in the morning it was rock music. In the midday, small town radio station, they played country music. Then they were basically easy listening after that. And then at night, they go back to rock music, mixed in sometimes with a little country music. So there you go. Anyway, I wanted to share the news, guys. Thank you for coming in. Soggy Jungle. You sound like a big old grizzly bear. I have COVID. That's why. And I'm trying to, I feel fine, but it's all here. And I report on rock and roll news most of the time, but this is a big one, and I wanted to honor her and just come on. Take good care, everybody. John Beaudin, Rock History Music.